Yes. All right. All right, so on to some serious stuff now. We've got I got that out of the way, out of my system. So let's, a lot of stuff happened today. As you know, today was the NFL trading deadline. And boy, did we have a lot of activity today. So let's get into that. Let's get it started. Handy, I will start with you only because yesterday your team had a trade. Beefing up, I can't even talk, beefing up your defensive line. You got a gentleman from the, sorry, you got Contavious Street, 2024 for a 2024 sixth rounder. If you play 6 games, or it's a conditional 7th round pick in 2025. How do you feel about this, Andy? Beefing up that defensive line.
I thought Contavia Street was a good place to go get some good barbacoa. I didn't realize that was a real person.
Oh man, I love it.
But to be completely honest, the Atlanta Falcons need as much help on defense as they possibly can. So if this is something that is going to help, I'm all for it, because the Falcons are the most consistently inconsistent team in the NFC, I think. I mean, I know that the two of my co-hosts would beg to differ, but it's just 1 week Atlanta looks good, the next week they look like garbage. The next week they look good, the next week they look like garbage. If we can get something that is consistent 100% of the time, I am all for it. So now somebody need to tell me where the boulevard is where I need to go get the good barbacoa.
There you go.
If it's not, I was getting ready to put it in Google Maps and find out.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. But yes, good on the Falcons again. Showing some life. You know, you won a few games, still in that. You know, you're basically still in the hunt for the NFC South, as it were. I mean, you still got a shot at that. So if you guys can put some stuff together, who knows, might see your Atlanta Falcons make a little push. We'll see.
I don't know. That's
all right.
I'm sorry. I always do this to you every time you come to me. That's just a testament to how mediocre that division is.
Yeah, I hear you. It's all good.
You got 4 teams, and not a single one of them is standing out. And the one is, I think we're still leading the division right now, which is insane. Like, how do you lose a game and still be in front?
Well, but like you said, you play in a mediocre division. That's how, my friend. But let's move on. It's okay, man. Look, it's all good, Handy. Your Falcons are gonna be okay, I think. And you know, you talked all that quarterback, or people talked all that quarterback talk too. We did have a quarterback move, and I know Tina was very nice to give us an update on everything today in our little group chat about what was going on. So I'm curious to know what you think of this one, Tina, because we all saw what happened to Mr. Kirk Cousins the other day. He's out for the season now with that ruptured Achilles. So that's pretty bad news. But the Vikings go and get a quarterback from the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals get a 6th-round pick. They get a 6th-round pick in return, and a 7th. And then, God, I can't even talk today. The Vikings get Josh Dobbs and a 7th-rounder in 2024. Tina, what do we think of this? Josh Dobbs, a guy who couldn't get a jersey in Arizona at his own team store, and now he gets traded to the Vikings. What do you think about Josh Dobbs going over to Minnesota?
I think it's a safe pick to make sure. Like I forget what the guy's name is that's going to take over for the Vikings right now, but they're saying that's who they're going with. What isn't his last name Hall or something? Jalen Hall.
Yeah, some kid. Yeah, that we do.
Yeah, I think that's just a pick. It's just a good backup pick if their rookies that they have don't pan out, then they can throw Josh Dobbs in there. So, yeah. I mean, it was the 7th round. That's not a huge number.
Right.
So
right.
It's not going to do much for the Vikings come draft time. They might,
right?
But you never know. Maybe they'll get the next Brock Purdy or whoever is Mr. Irrelevant that year. So I just think it was a backup, just in case Jalen can't get it together for them, so that they can at least still be competitive in your division. That's my thought on the Dobbs thing.
No, 100%. 100%. I agree. Delilah, our Bears decided to make a little move here.
I know.
Montez Sweat. We picked up a defensive lineman. Holy cow. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. I heard the rumors starting yesterday, and I didn't know if that was going to go through or not. But again, I will say this, though. We sent a second-round pick to Washington for Mr. Montez Sweat. And we know what happened the last time we gave up a second-round pick for a free agent. Didn't work out so well. He's no longer with the team. But, Delilah, how do we feel about this one? Montez Sweat to the Bears for a second-round pick to the Washington Commanders. What do you think?
Listen, I'm in a lot of group chats, even though they're muted, but a lot of them are with the mutual Bears fans, and they were freaking out. They were like, here's why. Now, I understand Sean's point, which everyone on here knows that Sean is a Commanders fan, so he knows his players, right? And so he assured us that, us going with Sweat was better than going for Chase Young, right? So he was like that we made the better acquisition. The problem is what we gave up for him, right? So we gave up a second-round pick, whereas the 49ers gave up a third-round pick. And I know everybody's like, oh, second and third. No, it matters in picks. Like that, second and third is a big deal. Like, it's a big difference. Sure. There's a lot of players. And I know that people don't stick around and watch the draft after their first round. They don't spend all the next few days. But a lot of people do. And there's a lot that happens in those rounds, right? So he reassured us, that Sweat was a better choice and that he had better he did better on defense than Chase. But to be fair, Chase had injuries, right? So, but a lot of us were like freaking out. I think the reason we freaked out, as Nick said, is because we have a history of giving up a lot for a little bit. So when we see things like this happen, you have to understand that Bears fans are going through a lot of trauma when it comes to trades and picks, because our history is not on our side for us giving up so much. And we expect a lot from that trade, and then we get little. Look what happened with as Nick said, we gave up a second-round pick, and that person is no longer with us, so we have to eat that now. And so that's the concern, is that we just do not have a good history of doing a good job with that, with trades, when we give up that much, However,
good.
I'm hoping for the best. We did need a edge rusher. We needed someone who could put the pressure. Our defense is lacking, which I don't want to get into that now, but that's upsetting when we have a defensive-minded coach. So when we have a defensive-minded coach and our defense isn't where it should be, then I ask those questions. Because the last defensive-minded coach we had took us to the Super Bowl. I'm just, whatever happened, all I know is that at least that defensive-minded coach, his defense made people cry and tremble, and we have our infamous tape from that defense, right? So I'm gonna say, so if you're gonna go out there and sell yourself as a defensive-minded coach, then I expect our defense to show that, and I'm not seeing it. So I hope that Sweat could bring what we need so that we could stop, so we can stop the rush, so we can make picks, so we can get sacks, so we can, really put pressure on these quarterbacks. So I'm really, really hoping that Sweat works out. No hate on him. I don't know him as well as Commanders fans, but I'm hoping we don't end up eating the second-round pick like we did with the last person we traded a second-round pick for.
Yeah, I feel like, Ryan Poles, I got to imagine that they talked to Sweat's people and that he's going to sign with us after this year. Because to me, why would you bother to bring a guy in for, 8-9 games and then just let him walk as a free agent and give up a second-round pick for him? So I'm really hoping that there was discussions before this deal was made to whereas, Sweat is going to sign with us so that we get him at least for another 3-4 years, whatever it is. But, yeah, I definitely will be looking forward to seeing that. Also, like I said, Delilah mentioned about Chase Young goes to the 49ers for a third-round pick. and I think I asked Sean that earlier, like, well, like, why didn't we get Chase Young then? Like, third round pick, we gave up a second for Sweat. But, Sean was just saying that again, like you said, he thought Sweat might have been a better option as well. And Young missed, like 21 games between the 2 years that he was hurt. So, yeah, so there's a lot going on there. Also, the Bills trying to beef up that defense, got a defensive back. They got Rasul Douglas from the Packers. Packers get a third rounder, and they also sent a 5th round pick to the Bills with Rasul Douglas. So a lot of stuff happening today in the world of football, and it's always exciting around trade deadline to see who does what. Of course, some people who stayed still, who we thought might have been traded, Devontae Adams, if anybody saw Sunday Night Football, you saw the disgust in his face there on the sideline. So, but Devontae stayed still. Saquon Barkley stayed still. So obviously these guys will have to work some stuff out with their teams, and we'll see what happens there. But let's quickly get into our recap.
That's because those trades ask for more than what teams are willing to give. That's why they had to sit.
Well, they had to. They just gave the Giants had to. They just gave Saquon his money.
Yeah, not just that, but what people are going to ask in return, those teams are not ready at this moment to give, right? Devontae Adams is not going to be shortchanged. We know what he can do. He's just on a mediocre team, but we know what he's capable of. Same thing with Saquon. He carries that Giant. We know that already. So they're going to ask for more, and that's why they're like, yeah, you're going to sit put.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm definitely, like I said, there's a lot more still to happen. We'll see what the offseason brings. But for right now, those are the big trades at the trade deadline. Let us move on. As we always like to do, we recap here what happened this past weekend with our teams. So because I know it was a fantastic win for her, because I know she just loves the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs so much. But of course, we all saw that the Denver Broncos upset, because that's what everybody's calling it, so I'll call it that too, upset the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. So go ahead, Tina. Give us your opinion, your statement of what happened. What do you think? How happy are you that Kermit the Frog went down on Sunday?
Oh, I enjoyed having frog legs on Sunday. So, because you can talk about he was sick and all that, and I'm not going to take away from the Chiefs. They are an extremely good team, and Kermit is a very good quarterback. But I swear to God, they did not prepare for that game. I mean, everybody's talking about how can Miami beat us 70-20. We beat the Chiefs. How'd that happen? Oh, this is how it happened. We had 3 key defensive people come back off of injuries. When you're playing a third string safety in a mic position in the Miami game, they're not going to be where they need to be. You are going to be able to take advantage of these things. And Fangio knows that defense. So that's why that game happened. That game on Sunday, our defense came to play. Our defense came to create havoc and show other teams exactly how you beat the Chiefs. You get Kelsey covered, and the other guys are going to screw it up. I'm sorry. The Chiefs need a wide receiver. They dropped the ball. They weren't in position, all of that stuff. So that's how we beat the Chiefs. But this is the one thing I want to say. Was it an upset? Yes, I think it was an upset. But here's it all. People don't remember. In 2 weeks, we held the Chiefs to 28 points total in 2 games. So maybe we're not as bad as people think we are. We have been in the past. I will say that. But I will also say I'm not drinking the juice right now. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I know this team is going to be back and forth and everything else, but we broke one of the longest streaks in the league right now, 16-0 against Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, I'm happy. I think it's great, but this has got to show the Chiefs, like, you got some issues here. You got some, their defense didn't play well either. So we got a running game going. That's the other thing we haven't been doing. And I'm hoping that Sean keeps forward with this, which is run the ball, and toss it when you need to. And 49-yard punt return by Mr. Mims from Oklahoma again. Lord,
Right.
Get that
There you
kid
know
more in
it.
the game.
Yeah,
So
it
that's my
really
point.
seemed though like it really seemed like Denver played a really complete game on Sunday, and that's why they were able to win because they didn't make a lot. They didn't make a lot of mistakes, and again, they pounced like you said. The defense came back strong, and you just were able to hold Kansas City down, and that's a great victory. Like I think it's phenomenal because, like I said, everybody knows, like you said, everybody knows who Kansas City is, but when you can show weakness and you can show what their weaknesses are, and again, like you said. Wide receiver is a big one for them because, like you said, you take away Kelsey, and who do you have? Sky Moore, Cole Hardiman, like guys who, it just not very
if you take
impressive
away
in the wide receiver.
Kelsey, you got Hill.
Yeah.
You could throw to Hill for 20 yards.
Right, correct.
And that was the one thing
100%.
that I was really proud of that defense for is usually how Kansas City gets ahead is they do 20-yard chunks. They'll throw a ball for 20, 25 yards and do it again and do it again and do it again. And they weren't letting them do that. Vance Joseph has taken a lot of heat over the last month and stuff over that defense.
Oh, yeah.
But he had those boys ready. And they knew what their job was, and they knew where they were supposed to be. But again, we got Justin Simmons back last week. We got PJ Locke back, and there was another guy that I'm not remembering right now that helped out in the run defense. So I mean,
sure,
it was our Super Bowl. I'm not gonna lie.
No, well, it could end up being. We'll see how it goes. You guys got still 8 games to play, so 3-5 though. I mean, again, you never know what could happen. You got
good as they were supposed to be. So this was supposed to be the hard section of our schedule that we're coming up.
Right. That's
so we'll see. Like I said, I'm not on the Kool-Aid. But
that's fine.
I saw some things I liked.
So awesome. Well, let's turn our attention now to Grandpa. I mean, Mr. Handy over there, and Handy. Falcons kind of took a little one on the chin on Sunday, huh? What happened there? Give us your.
You mean they did like me on a night when I had too many prunes and they crapped the bed? Is that what you meant to say?
Yeah, that's one way to put it. I'm sure. Yes.
I mean, honestly, I don't know what to say about Atlanta. There's a couple of things here. They were able, with Will Levis as quarterback. Now, Tannehill has been serviceable, but we all know that offense has been built around Derrick Henry for like ages now.
Yes.
You put Will Levis in this game, and all of a sudden he's thrown for over 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. D-Hop has his second 100-yard receiving game and scores 3 of those touchdowns. Now you have a run threat and a pass threat. And Atlanta, like I said, we gonna need that boy to the street where I can get the barbacoa. We're gonna need him. But I mean, this is what happens when you bring a total game to play against the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, you get what I'm getting at. You hear me? I got an uncle. I got an uncle. He's long gone now, but he used to say, "You hear me? What to say?" That's exactly what happened to Atlanta, and like I said, inconsistently consistent. You see, now I will say this. No, that's what I'm saying. Tannehill didn't play in that game. That's what I said. That's what I said, man.
Oh man, I tell you,
Levis had an incredible game. And Taylor Heineke, and in Twisted, I'm sure made Sean kind of happy. His boy, even though he's not playing with the Commanders anymore, Taylor Heineke got to get out there, throw the ball around.
Almost brought him back. Almost brought him back.
Yeah, almost brought them back. They did put my boy on the bench, so Heineke could come out and play. And Heineke showed him what he could do. I think. I question to the crowd: do you think that Heineke gets the nod next week over Ritter, or what? Are you thinking that they just let Ritter sit just to kind of clear his mind and clear his thoughts, and maybe they'll put him back out there next week? Oh, they did.
Well, I mean, personally,
I missed that part. I did miss that part. I was on the road coming from Memphis yesterday. I got in the bed when I got home, and I got up this morning and went to work. So I have seen squat except for scores and stats. So Ritter's getting bit. Well, my fantasy might be coming true. That's better than
you just read that Ritter's getting bit?
That's better than going to the cafeteria at the old folk home and finding out that you actually have a real apple pie instead of Jell-O for dessert.
Oh man, you're killing me. I love it. I love it. I love it. But no, I again, I don't, like I said, I haven't seen Atlanta. I've only seen Atlanta play a little bit this year, but I know Desmond Ridder hasn't exactly been impressive, as it were. And Heineke being a seasoned veteran, at least, it might give you guys a chance until Ridder either, like you said, clears his head or can figure out and correct the mistakes he's been making. But again, as far as quarterbacks go, sometimes you got to ride the hot hand. And if you can get Heineke to put some points on the board for you guys and kind of spark that offense, I'm thinking that's how you got to go.
That's it. And that's not necessarily saying that Heineke might be the future of the franchise, but
no.
I mean, if he can hold the team together, long enough to maybe to spark some fire in some of the other guys, because I've seen that happen. We've all seen it happen before. Backup quarterback comes in. He's not the future of the franchise. How many times have we seen Fitzmagic do this with the franchise? He just get out there and start slinging the ball around while a guy's got his face mask all the way around the back of his neck and still throwing a 70-yard touchdown right in the breadbasket. If you can spark a fire in the, you know what I'm saying, to get these guys going enough to maybe build up some momentum. I mean, at this point, I would be happy if Atlanta won the division and didn't get any further, because it would be head and shoulders above what they've been doing.
Yeah,
at this point. And even then, I don't know if that's possible. So, yeah, listen, Colin and I do a show. Colin says Bama does what Bama do. I'm going to apply this to the Falcons. The Falcons does what the Falcons do.
Right.
It don't go quite so good with the Falcons. I'm gonna have to come up with something else. But still, you understand the sentiment. The Falcons are gonna Falcon.
Right. Well, switch to piggyback off of that, Delilah. Our Bears did what our Bears do. We can never put together 2 wins in a row. And we actually just looked very lackluster to me on Sunday. We couldn't tackle for crap, and just everything was out of sync. I mean, Velus Jones trips at the goal line, then the ball still hits him in the chest, and he still drops the damn ball. So I don't know what else could go wrong in that sort of thing. But Delilah, give me your impressions of the Bears game on Sunday. Losing to the Chargers on Sunday Night Football for all the nation to see.
I am not surprised. I have said it multiple times. I don't trust the coaches at all for this team. Never will. So that's my problem, is they cannot stick to a game plan. They win a game with a game plan that's solid. And then for some reason, they're like, you know what? We won that way, but we're not going to do that again, because why would we repeat something that works? Why do that?
Yeah.
Right. That seems to be how these coaches are operating. And this is why I don't trust this team. Not the players.
Right.
Because honestly, it's sad that our win and loss is so bad, because we actually do have the talent, regardless of, we picked up some defense. I get it. But overall, our offense should be killing people, right? We've seen it. We know DJ Moore, if he was on any other team but us, he would be considered a top 5 wide receiver, probably, because they would be using him like they should, right? They'll be like, that's our guy. Let's make sure, right? Let's get the ball to him. What else happened? We learned that Foreman cannot just rush the ball, but he can also catch. Did we do that? No. We did not, for some reason, go, you know what? Foreman won us a game. Not even to put him in. Like, they barely got him the ball. They barely got DJ Moore. So the people who put points that we know consistently can put points, not just the drop footballs, which are painful, but the two guys that won us our games, by the way, the two guys, so the 2 wins that we have, we just decide to not follow through on the next game and execute with them. And I just don't understand that. And that's why I blame the coaches. I don't know what Luke. That's why I told people, calm down. Everybody's like, oh, let's get rid of Justin. Why? It's not his fault. Like, y'all need to, like, relax, because look what we're doing to Bajent. Okay? We're not a team or an organization that is trusted when it comes to developing a quarterback. And they still don't trust us, and this is why. Why would you alienate the person that we picked first? That's obvious. It's obvious that we're not tailoring our offense, even though it's obvious we can make adjustments, right? We can make certain changes. Yeah. That we are not tailoring our offense to his talent. So for people to say, oh, well, it's all Justin's fault. Is it though? Are you paying attention to what's been happening? Did you pay attention when he came in as a rookie? Or did you forget all the rushing yards that he just murdered when he was running? That everybody literally was like, oh, he's the next Lamar. He's the next Cam, right? What's happening this season? Why are we not doing that? Does anybody not ever think about that? Why are we not using that talent for what he can do? We're not doing that. Then when we do make adjustments and he wins games, do we continue with that play? No, we don't. Do you see? That's what I mean. Like, so when we do get him to, when he connected with DJ Moore, everybody remembers a few weeks ago, he killed it. He was like, had the most yards that week compared to all the other quarterbacks that are considered elite. He had more touchdowns that week when he won and connected with DJ Moore. Did we do that the following week when we lost? No, we didn't. Nope. We abandoned him. And we created plays for him that obviously don't work. What are we doing to Bajent? Same thing. We're creating plays for a rookie that doesn't work. He got intercepted twice.
Yeah, well, one wasn't his fault, but yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. But do you see what I mean? So all I'm saying is, don't do this. Don't do the quarterback controversy stuff when it's obvious that it's the coaching that's costing us the games, and they're the ones that need to be replaced, not the players. Stop blaming the players. It's sad and it's insulting because Chicago players, when they come and play for us, we follow them forever. And you know it's true. They go to other teams, and when they're successful, like, yeah, it makes sense they're successful over there because they're not playing for us anymore. You know, so we're like, of course they are. Look at David Montgomery doing in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we always know that when players leave us, usually they do better because they're with a better coaching regimen who's like, oh, this is what you're good at. Let me do that.
Yeah, we have definitely had our share of issues of developing quarterbacks for one, and then just I'm you know, again, I don't know what Poles' grand plan is with all of this. Obviously, he's made moves, and we have a ton of draft picks coming up again in this draft. I mean, obviously, we don't have a second-round pick anymore, but I mean, I'm very interested to see what they're going to do the rest of this year. From what I'm reading, Bajent is going to play Sunday against New Orleans. So he gets a third start. We'll see what he does, or see if they, like you said, change the game plan, figure out what they can do here to make this work in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, I definitely think there's a lot of things that need to be evaluated at the end of the season, regardless. And hopefully that Kevin Warren jumps in and kind of has some input, and we kind of figure this thing out, because I know you're tired of it. I'm kind of tired of it. So yeah, hopefully we can figure out something.